We're gonna put this on YouTube?
Underrated?
Underrated? Oh. Lady for Sympathy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, not Old Boy, but Lady for Sympathy. Yeah.
Welcome to Docu Plus, Christina. Before we begin, can you introduce yourself to the audience who don't know about you?
Yeah, sure. Hello, I am Christina. I'm Christina Lim. Christina YR Lim. I am a filmmaker from LA and I am Korean American. And I am having a little stint in Seoul. Yeah.
So can you tell me, so you're from LA and we're in Seoul right now. How did you get here?
So I am Korean American, so I grew up in the States. But as I was growing up, my parents and my family would always visit Seoul pretty often, every couple of years. But you know, as an adult, I realized that I had actually never lived in Korea by myself. And I think when you visit with your family, it's essentially you're just following your aunties around for weeks, you know? And so you don't really get to know it and make it your own, really. And so, I just really wanted to do that for once, you know, and get to know the country, but also just have just establish a personal understanding of the place. And so I think I did that, accomplished that.
And you have extended families here in Korea?
I do. Yeah, I have a lot of aunties and uncles and cousins, and yeah, a lot.
Okay,
Yeah.
wow. And so you spent like 2 months here. As a filmmaker, how can you describe like your experience? Like, what inspired you in your past 2 months here?
Creatively, I think. So because I am from Los Angeles, which is a very specific environment of storytelling and filmmaking, I think no matter where you come from, if you just take yourself out of it and go to a new place, I think you discover something else. But I think coming back to Korea, where I just inherently, just culturally, the way I was raised, socially, even the way I look, there's a general and a very natural sort of connection that I have.
So coming from LA,
Yeah.
what would you say is there any like similarities or differences between LA and Seoul?
In terms of like film?
Or just in general, like your observations?
I guess, you know, when I was growing up, coming to Korea, I didn't see it as much because I think it was just a different time. But right now, the diversity here that I see in terms of expats living here, you go to Itaewon and there's like, you know, so many different cuisines and so many people who look from different walks of life that I was surprised to see, just because I am so used to Korea in the 90s or the 2000s or whatever. And so I think that's a huge similarity in Los Angeles and Korea. I think they just both have such a big melting pot, you know? Yeah.
Oh wow. So can you tell me more about your journey into filmmaking? Like what kind of inspired you to become a filmmaker in the first place?
So because I grew up very much a minority, I was also lucky in that I grew up in a very heavily like Asian community in Maryland. And so I grew up with, you know, all my friends were Asian. I didn't feel like I was the only one. So I had a really strong sense of what it was to be an Asian American person. But then you go anywhere else, you know, you leave that, which I did for college and whatever. I realized that it's not actually a common experience. Most other Asian Americans feel like they're the only person, or, you know. And so when you feel that way, being able to see yourself through media is huge. It's truly huge. I think the way we see people that we don't know, we're not familiar with in media, in TV, film, even commercials, even, you know, ads, I think we absorb it as almost truth. And so I think because of that, if you aren't responsible and if you're not intentional about it, it can cause harm, right? But if you are doing it correctly and if you are representing your community well, then I think it actually bridges people. It makes other people understand communities, even if they've not encountered it. And so I think, I'm naturally a weirdo and love stories, and I come from theater, and so if that's naturally the way my brain works and things that I enjoy, then I wanted to kind of focus that into like accomplishing that or helping that along, so it just seemed like a really natural kind of like crossroads,
I mean, I know you've been only here for 2 months, but when you first arrived here to start embark on your journey, what did you notice, like in terms of the media here? I'm sure when you turn on your TV or go online, everything's like Korean content, right? How did that make you feel compared to the US, where there's a lot of different like varieties of content?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to come here as a creative person, like a filmmaker versus just a person, which is another aspect of it, is that in America, when you're a female or a person of color making stories, you just automatically get framed that way. And so anything you do, like any story you tell, they're like, okay, so tell me about your Asian American female movie. And even if it's not really, there's a lot of like trying to mold you in that category. And so like over time that can get a little like exhausting, or if you're fighting against it, or if so overly identifying with it. So coming here, like anything you do is just kind of a story, right? Like you turn on the TV or watch something on Korean Netflix or something like that. It's just a cop movie. Do you know what I mean? It's just a cop movie. It's a rom-com. It's not like a Asian American cop movie. It's not an Asian American rom-com. It's literally just a story. And I think to me, of course it's like status quo here, but to me it feels really freeing. And that's something that I have never experienced in America, and I would like to. And the place I can see that happening and where that's a possibility is, I think, here.
That's actually really interesting. So as an Asian American female director in LA, you feel that pressure, that whatever stories that you tell needs to have that stereotype.
For sure. Like, I'll tell a story that is about my upbringing, right? And it's just, so my first feature, it was about my relationship with my stepdad, who is white, and what it was like to be, like a 13-year-old like Asian kid in America being raised by a white guy, right?
That's B-side Taylor, right?
Yeah, B-side for Taylor. And so to me, it's just about me and my dad. But I don't think it's a bad thing per se. It's not like this like it's not a bad thing that's happening, but it just naturally happens that people are like, okay, so like tell me about what it's like to be I don't know, like a woman or like a female, and how you are trying to represent your whole community through this film. And I don't think I'm trying to I don't think anybody can have that responsibility anyway, but there is this sort of expectation or whatever it is to represent the whole behind you through whatever you might be doing, which is both good and bad, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your upbringing as a Korean American female director, how has that shaped you in terms of your storytelling?
I mean, I think as a younger storyteller, I think I almost over-identified with it. Truly, I think I over-identified with it because, that expectation was just naturally there. This is where you come from, so of course your stories will come from this. But I think as I've evolved as a storyteller, I have learned that actually over-identifying with it can be really good, but it also can, like everything in life, right? It's very fruitful, but also it can be limiting at the same time. And so, at least for me, my trajectory has been taking a lot of like pride and intentionality of that, but at the same time evolving to realize I can talk about other things too, right? Like I'm actually allowed to talk about not necessarily being the Asian kid in the whatever. I can actually talk about like other things. So I think that's where my work is going now, which is really cool.
Also, in that sense, do you think this trip definitely helped you?
Yeah.
Guide you to that direction, so you can like open up to more possibilities in storytelling?
For sure. I think it's a state of mind. I really truly think it's like a state of mind sort of thing, because I've watched a lot of films, right? Of course, being here. And maybe it's because of the community, the film community that I'm accessing here. I've just watched films that I don't think I would even know about, like just very small indie sort of films. And they're Korean, and so they're all Koreans on on TV or on the screen. The language is all Korean, but nothing really is about their like cultural background. Like the whole movie has nothing to do. It's about like humanity or just things that I cannot believe I did not allow myself to talk about. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so now it's becoming more normalized being here, which is fantastic. I think it's really great.
Did you watch the show called When Life Gives You Tangerine on Netflix?
I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen it.
No, you have to watch it. It's so good.
So many. I've actually have.
But so sad too. Like you cry every episode.
Is it a K-drama?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a drama.
Yeah.
Okay. Some people in the States have told me about it. More in the States than here,
So
actually.
like, I don't normally have the time or energy to watch K-dramas, right?
Yeah.
But this one is just like immediately.
Chef's kiss?
Like, yeah. It's
Okay.
like, wow.
Okay, it's on my queue now. Yeah.
So like, it takes place in Jeju Island. Did you get a chance to like visit Jeju on this trip?
We did. We went to Jeju. Yeah, the halabang.
Yeah.
Is that how I say it?
Yeah.
Halabang. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why tangerine.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
But the original Korean title is 폭삭 속았소다. It's like it's 제주도 사투리. But yeah, it's really good.
Okay.
And I think Netflix spent a lot of money making that series. And after that show got like a huge hit, they are kind of like doing something more to Jeju Island. Like I think they signed some kind of agreement to help, tell more stories from Jeju Island, which is great for the local economy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's really beautiful there.
Just watched this new Korean animation called 이별에 필요한.
Okay.
I forgot the English title.
Okay.
It's so good. I highly recommend it if you haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
And I think Bong Joon-ho like raved about it.
Oh, okay, cool.
In, like one of his reviews.
Yeah.
So yeah, I highly recommend it if you like animation.
Okay.
As after watching it, I was like, oh wow, Korean animation, like we have future now. Because Korean animation for a long time, like it was kind of like struggling.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have the same amount of like films, animation films compared to the live action. So that's kind of good news. Anyway, going back to you. So now that you've been here for 2 months, my biggest curiosity is, because I'm a filmmaker too, like what kind of experiences here that you have here in the past 2 months have helped you shape to create when you go back home?
Two ways, I think. So one of my sneaky reasons for coming here for 2 months is also because I have a film that I've been working on for a while, and it takes place. It's an immigration story about a Korean family who go from Seoul to America. Kind of like my story, like basically my story, but. It's also, we just did a proof of concept for it last year. And what we shot was the Korean part. And when I watch it, I can tell that a Korean American made it. And I don't think that's good. Meaning like, I am a Korean American, I am a Korean American person. And so I don't think that I have the ownership of what it's like to be a Korean person in the 90s to represent that correctly. And so one of my sneaky reasons to come here is because I want to learn and also find the right people to help me do that right. And So I think that's one of the things that I take back with me, to be more self-conscious of and more aware of, am I representing Koreanness correctly when I move forward?
Okay.
And then also now, secondly, this is getting in the weeds, but I think the way funding works in America versus like basically everywhere else, including Korea, it is, there's like government grants here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so there's none of that in the States. And so I think there is a lot more, I mean, I guess it's arguable whether it's like more opportunities or not, but I think just knowing that there is this whole new structure that exists is really, to me, very refreshing, and also it's so inspiring. I've seen people, I mean, micro features are done a lot in the States, but what you can do here in terms of micro budget is, I could not believe what was possible. And so to me, it feels like creative freedom and access, like truly just access. And what I said before about just being able to just tell stories that are not like what it's like to be an Asian. It's just being about like love or wanting to grieve or whatever that like human thing might be. I definitely take that back with me. And so I think the stories moving forward, there'll always be like I will always put Asian American people on the screen, but I want it to be about their humanness a lot more than what they look like, you know. Yeah.
I also recently watched this film in theaters called Happy End, the Japanese film, directed by the Japanese American Neo Sora.
I haven't seen that one yet.
It's really good. Especially if you're into like sci-fi, like it's kind of like, but it's almost like a realistic sci-fi too,
grounded.
like near future.
Cool.
Kind of, takes place in Tokyo.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend it. That film too, because the other animation that I mentioned, that also is kind of like near future sci-fi-ish kind of thing, which is I really loved.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah,
okay.
Hopefully you can watch both of them and kind of like get inspiration as well.
Yeah.
What else? Like, so I know you're working on the Kyopo film. Do you think from this 2 months of experience that another new project might spring up, or are you just going to focus on Kyopo?
So I am working on a few other projects that I already decided before coming here, but now I am obsessed. I actually don't know what the actual story is or anything, but I'm obsessed with the prospect of making a micro budget feature in Seoul or in Korea.
For the people who don't know what micro budget means, can you explain what that is?
I don't know what the official number would be, but it's to me it's anything under like 800K USD. My real, like to me, my personal definition of what a micro budget is like 250,000. Under 250,000 to me is a micro budget. Yeah, like I think 500,000 is like ample money. But 250, I think it starts getting to that point where you're like, okay, I have to really work around this, you know. So I'm so inspired by what's possible with smaller budgets, and if you really focus on story versus like, you know, spectacle, I think you can really do a lot. And so that's something that I'm like, what could this be, you know?
Oh, speaking of like, you can do really a lot. Have you noticed everybody's crazy about AI in Korea?
Yes.
Does that scare you?
Well, it's interesting because today I was walking down the street and I heard 2 people mention AI, like something AI, something AI. Yeah. I don't know what the context was at all. I don't think it necessarily scares me per se, but I think it's less. That's also one of the things that I've noticed here. It's a lot less so here. Or maybe I just don't know enough and I'm just like idealizing too much. But in the States anyway, I think storytelling standards have changed quite a bit just because it's very like finance and business oriented, which is understandable. I think it's still a business and people gotta eat for real. But I think AI, I'm only worried that AI it's gonna contribute to more of that. Do you know what I mean? Like more of either the same things, a lack of new things, a lack of new voices, not trying new things, not taking risks. Like I'm more worried that it's going to make things like streamline things so much more that everything just comes out as the same steak, the same meal, the same. You know what I mean? So.
But going back to your micro budget thing,
Yeah.
do you think AI might help kind of alleviate the budget? Because with AI, you can save a lot of like money.
For sure.
And, like post on like VFX stuff, right?
It can, and it also saves in other things like voiceover or like there's so many
even
different
music,
things.
like composing the original music.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting though. Yes, for sure. But my first feature was a micro budget. It was $82,000. Like it was 80, and obviously this was like a year or two before AI got huge, so we didn't use any AI or anything. So to me, it's like if I can make a feature for $82,000 that I think is pretty decent. It's not like perfect, but it's a decent film. I feel like I can do it again. You know, so I can certainly use AI to make things cheaper, but I don't see why not. I would rather hire people straight out of film school who are down to do something micro budget because they're scrappy and hungry, and then give them the experience, but also like make a cool film with them. Then like plug in something in a computer. But that's maybe I'm like aging myself by saying that, but I do think it's possible. You know, in all the departments. So that's probably the way I would go.
Okay, speaking of film school, you went to film school.
I did go to film school.
Do you have any advice for young, like current film school students who wants to like break into the industry, like in 2025? Like, what's your advice? It's because to me it sounds daunting. Like, where do you even go?
You know, it is a hard time. It's a really hard time right now, especially because COVID happened, the strikes happened, the fires in LA, like all the stuff, like, you know, politically, all the stuff, like just a lot of things. But I will say, and this is always the same as if you had graduated in the heyday of TV or what, like the peak of the industry or now, or even worse, I think just like make stuff. Just make stuff. I think that's, if you're a writer, right? If you're a director, make, even if it's on your phone. I know people hate it when they're like, just take your phone. And I know that's an annoying advice. But truly, whatever you have, just make it. Because if you're a director who doesn't make films, or if you're a editor who never cuts, if you're a cinematographer who never like holds a camera, because of whatever reason, I think time will go by and you will go nowhere. Yeah. But if you literally just point something and start making things, whether it's good or bad, low quality or not, I think you'll make at least steps forward. And so I think that's my advice, no matter what the time is.
So just do it.
Just make it. Like, just start typing, and it could be bullshit, but it's better than having bullshit pages than 0 pages, because over time those bullshit pages will become better and better and better and better. So I think there's nothing else but just doing it. Okay. There's truly nothing else, I think.
Well, what's your like writing process like? Can you explain your day in life? Like, so when you're starting a new project, for example, where do you get your inspiration? And like, to me, like writing, because sometimes it's really daunting.
It is.
Just looking at the blank page. Like, how do you start?
So I am very type A, so people need to know that I'm very type A, extremely structured. I need like a schedule and plans and things like that. So I think I approach writing really similarly. So I'll tell you like 2 journeys. One is the actual writing, and the other one is like the emotional part. The actual writing, I have an idea or like a theme, and or like a small plot or something. And I usually, for me anyway, I have to figure out initially, why do I want to do this? Like, why do I actually want to tell this story? Is it specifically to, like right now, I have a brand new project, and it is an adaptation of a book. And the book is a real person story, and she and I have been talking about it for a while. And she, I really identify with her because she has been basically fostering children throughout her whole life with her family, her son, her husband and daughter. And when we started talking about adapting it into film, I had to ask myself, what do I actually want to tell with this story? Like, it can be so many things, depending on if you were to tell the story with someone else. We all come into it and see something differently. That's the beauty of a voice, right? And so when I came into it, what I saw was, I want people to see this movie and feel like no matter where they are in their life, whether they have $100 in their account or $1 billion in their account, that they can contribute something to another human being. Like, that's what I want them to walk away and say, like, I can do something, right? And so if I have that, then the film that I want to say becomes already shaped pretty finely, actually. It's like surprising how narrow that focus becomes when you figure that out. And so I do that. And then the crazy begins. Then I do a crazy, like, no, if you were to read it, you'd be like, what the hell is this? Like, it makes no sense. It might as well be in like symbols. But I make a crazy outline of what the film could be. And I let it be really gross. Like, the character will change halfway through. Maybe their age will change. Like, I just do it like almost freestyle. And then the next one, I like fine tune it. I probably do an outline maybe like 8 or 9 times. And it's literally every single scene that I see. And every little detail I can think of. Emotional. At this point, my emotions are high. Because it's like, hypothetically, this film's going to be awesome. Like, it's going to be great. Like, it's going to be the most beautiful thing, blah, blah, blah. And then I go from outline to the script. And as I'm translating it, pretty much you figure out what doesn't work, which is so much. Like, it ends up being like so many things, all these hopes and these beautiful scenes and these like themes that were intricate, right? And it's like, oh, it doesn't work. And so your first draft is total garbage. My first draft is garbage. And my emotions are pretty low. I'm like, all right. But the great thing is I know it, like at this point, I just know that's the journey. And so from there, like, I think that's the hardest part, from that first draft to probably like the 5th, where you need to make sense of the characters, the relationships. Like, I do background work. I write like pages about a character, like where they're from, who's their best friend and their kid, like certain things that happen, whatever, like it's all makeup, but like all this stuff. And then as I redraft, then I'm like, well, she wouldn't do that. If this is the most important moment in her childhood, she would never do that to another human being. And so because I've already set those parameters for myself, it gets fine-tuned. And so then everything has depth, But that's like, I don't know, like if I'm lucky, 4 or 5 months of like solid nonstop work, I would say.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think that's going to hell and back.
So you've already made several shorts and feature.
Yeah.
I'm just curious because I've only done documentaries so far. From the initial draft to your final product that's shown on the big screen.
Yeah.
How much is it different, like in terms of like percent-wise? Is it like 100% true to what you envisioned from the original, or is it totally like flopped and it's something totally different? Like,
so you're talking about the very first draft I've written, not like the production draft.
Okay, maybe the production draft.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So production draft of script, it's usually pretty good. It's maybe like 95%. Oh. Yeah, for sure. If it's first draft of script, it's like 10%. It's just like so completely different. Yeah, for sure.
Because I mean, even for documentaries, I have that experience where I had to completely redo my film. In post.
Yeah.
Because documentaries, we don't have script.
Yeah.
So it's during the editing process. I had to like reinvent the whole story, which is kind of like painful, but I kind of enjoy it.
Yeah.
So going back to the topic, like I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this, especially from Korea, wants to cross over. Someone like me.
Yeah.
Like, what's your advice? Like, how, especially for like young film school who just got out of, I don't know, like 한예종 or like 중앙대, who wants to like take a job in Hollywood. Like, what's your advice for as a Korean American director?
To break into LA, like
Or-
into America.
Yeah, or anywhere, like for that matter. Yeah.
Oh, just anywhere, even here.
In the U.S.
Oh, in the U.S. That's interesting. Specifically,
Do you know anyone around you that has done it?
I mean, most of the people I know who have gone to America usually go through like a school.
Yeah.
But I'll do this though. Like, I'll flip it and see what I would do if I wanted to break into Korea, which I do, right?
Yeah.
I think I would I would try to meet people, not like fancy people who have like that's great, like fancy whatevers, but I would try to find people who think like you do. I truly would do that. I would try to find people who have similar aspirations or similar, like you talk about creative, some people you talk to them about movies and you can literally talk to them for 17 hours because your taste is similar, or like you think about films the same way or whatever. So I think I would try to start collecting people you actually connect with, like as a human being, because I think I came here knowing maybe like 4 people in film or four or 5 people in film. But they were like you, like solid people that I really connect to and I can like talk to for hours, and I love their work and they like my work. And so because of that, I think even those 4 feel really quality. And then through them you meet, because they know people they connect to, and most likely you connect to them too. And so over time, pretty quickly, I bet, you would have a community around you. And then, like, to me, if you have a community somewhere, then as a creative, then you have creative, like, grounding already.
Yeah, I think as a filmmaker, that's really important, right?
Everything. Yeah, everything. Because they'll come and help you make stuff, and you'll go help them, and, you know. Yeah.
So can you now confidently say that you have both graphs of communities, both in, like, the U.S. and Korea? Like, can you confidently say to the people, hey, I got it?
I think I am way on my way. I'll say that. Like the people I've met here that I have connected to in Korea have really inspired me. Like it's kind of unreal how much they inspire me. And so I think, I will say that I do feel like I'm grounded here. Like I can move here. Like I want to move here.
Okay, so when are you moving?
I would really like to move here. So yeah, if I were to, I feel confident that if I were to move here, I would not feel lost or lonely or like creatively disconnected. I think I would feel very creatively connected. Yeah.
Did you get a chance to like? I know you probably spent most of your time in Seoul, but did you get to like see other parts of Korea?
Yes. So I got.
Okay, hold on. Okay, this is the Korea edition. Okay, city you dislike in Korea.
Oh, there wasn't a city I disliked.
Or do you wanna, since Seoul is big, do you wanna keep it to Seoul, like district that you dislike in Seoul?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, let's do the Seoul edition.
Okay.
Okay, so in Seoul, the district you dislike.
All right. I'm gonna age myself. Okay. Hongdae.
Hongdae?
After 8 p.m. when the sun goes down, the gargoyles come out. It is wild. Like we would just walk down the street and they're like, shots, come on, shots. I'm like, what about me if you don't want me there? So I think Hongdae after 8 p.m. Before is great.
Do you know the famous like Instagram guy who's...
Yes, the Hongdae guy. He's great. I hope he sees this. I like you. Yeah.
Okay, district you think is overrated?
Overrated?
In Seoul.
Probably Gangnam. I would say Gangnam. Because in the States, everybody's like Gangnam because of the song and stuff like that. But I think Gangnam's all right. But I don't think it's like, I gotta go to Gangnam, Yeah.
Sorry, I drag you all down to some
Yeah.
Underrated?
Underrated. Oh my gosh. So we just went to this, we got a little tip from somebody. HBC?
해방촌?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. So no one, I've never heard of 해방촌. But then someone
So
told.
famous though.
Okay, then it's just me then. It's not underrated. I'm just not in the know. Okay. But it was awesome.
Okay, so
So
district you like. Technically, 해방촌 is part of Yongsan district, by the way.
Sure, that makes sense. Yeah. I did really like Yongsan. Okay, so there's a few, like Seongsu's awesome. I think Seongsu's awesome. Yongsan's awesome. Okay, but my very favorite,
Wait,
I have to
save it because you have the next one is district you love. So there's like and love.
I think my favorite is probably Ikseongdong.
Oh, 종로, okay.
Yeah, I like Jongno. Yeah, I think Jongno is my favorite probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
The district you feel most yourself in.
Oh.
Itaewon?
I was like, don't say it. Probably by the water. I really maybe it's because I'm from California.
Okay.
But yeah, like we our friend Hugh took us to Noder.
Okay.
Noder-sam. That was really just like by the water where I can see the you know, I
interesting.
think that's probably.
District you still need to visit.
Oh my gosh, there's so many. Oh, I didn't go to Noan.
No one, okay.
I never went to Noan. I heard it's really dope.
Yeah.
Around Iwade, I
Yeah.
didn't really go there, which
No?
would have been I know.
There's a beautiful like ECC, their campus, their architecture is like gorgeous. It's like stunning.
Yeah,
You have to go.
yeah, I didn't go there.
District you dream of living in.
Oh, Samcheongdong.
삼청동, yeah.
Oh, that's a gallery, right?
No, 삼청동 is like a neighborhood in Jongno next to Palace.
Yes. And it has all the museums
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, that I would love that. But it looks so like bougie. Like it'd be expensive to live there.
Yeah, the Hanoks,
Yeah.
they're bougie.
Yeah, but I would love to live there.
Wait, were you here during the protests?
No, I missed it by like a.
Because
2
that
months.
whole area was like
I bet.
crazy.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Okay, wow, fun. So I think this is better than the Korean film question that
I think so.
have.
Yeah.
Okay, my last question. Is there a story that you haven't told that you're dying to tell? Maybe this trip has inspired you to get the confidence, okay, I think I'm ready to tackle this.
Oh my gosh.
Is this such a difficult question?
It is a really difficult question. So I don't know if there's like a story that I'm dying to tell. There's many scripts that I have that I'm like, someone give me money. There's that. But I think I don't really know what I would do here. Let me think for a second. A story that I'm dying to tell and I'm inspired to tell from being here.
Can we expect a screenplay in Korean from you?
Oh my god. Are you sure you want that? It's gonna look like children's handwriting. I'm really okay. So this is something I'm really inspired by. I think it's because I live in a specific city or something like that. But the elderly here are really different than the elderly that I think I'm used to or like I perceive in the States. The community for elderly here is really different than because there's basically I think when I think of the elderly in America, they feel like kind of disconnected and there isn't necessarily like a community. But in the city of Seoul anyway, I always see like I go to McDonald's. And I see like these elderly people who have just went on a hike together, and there's like 17 of them just having a little cup of coffee. I think the way people age here is really different, and it's really celebratory, and there's like honor, and there's a lot of respect, and as opposed to like. I think the elderly are maybe kind of like looked down to. Well, they don't know anything. Like, no, they don't. They're aged out, you know. But here it's like they're revered, you know. And so I think the disparity of that is really interesting.
We also have a senior international film festival, so like for doing
Oh no, yeah. I've heard of that. Yeah, I think that's really cool. So I would love to maybe tell a story about an older woman but not necessarily like about her age or about her like, I don't know, being sick or being old, but more in like she's in the prime of her life. She has a great community. She's like thriving. I would love to tell a very different like aspect of what it's like to be older.
Oh, you have to watch this new Korean movie called Pagwa.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Yeah, so
yeah.
it premiered in Berlin,
Yeah.
but I missed it, so I went to check it out in theaters here. Sadly, it didn't do well in the box office, but I feel like it was pretty good.
Yeah.
And it does exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
Because the protagonist is like an old grandma, and she's an assassin, and you
Amazing.
don't. It's just like Kill Bill, basically.
Yeah,
and
that's
you
amazing.
don't typically associate like older like grandma type
Exactly.
of characters to be like full-on assassins, like killing like people like that.
Yeah.
Like she's badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that. That would be really cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll expect you to write a beautiful
Fully done.
senior like noir Korean film
Sure.
by 2026.
Sure. Yeah. Just 5, 6, 7 months. Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's all for today. Like,
Okay.
thank you so much for your time for coming all the way to my office,
Yeah.
my humble office.
All the way from Los Angeles. I flew here.
So when are you planning to come back here next?
I would like to come back in the fall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so soon.
Very soon. My hope is to be back twice a year.
And then are you gonna stay for 2 years?
Yeah.
2 years?
I do have my visa, so but I'll stay as long as I can. I'll say that.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Bye.